Good morning, Brussels sprouts. I have got big help today in the form of Addison. She's going to take her time, read over the questions from your EdPuzzle on sourcing, which, judging from a lot of you, it seemed to help. That's good. But let's go through some of the questions that you guys have asked. First question, Addie, what's that say?
So do you have to start out by saying what doc it is?
I absolutely would start out by saying what doc it is. As you're addressing the document, either in your essay, let's say you're using documents 1 and 3 to make an argument, and you use those documents to support your argument, to strengthen your argument, and then you say, the purpose of document 3 is to show whatever, and that helps explain how, or that helps to show why. You have to tie it back to your argument, okay? The historical context is this. It was written during this time, and that helps to explain my argument or strengthen my argument by this or in this manner, okay? Question 2, Addison.
How do I make sure that I am addressing the prompt when sourcing?
Always tie it back to your thesis, to what the idea is, okay? Sometimes you'll see the hip or whatever what it may be at the end of the question, why? Soap with a Y, hip with a Y, hap with a Y. You always answer the why. Why does this document matter? How does it strengthen my argument? Okay, question 3. Quit playing with my bald head.
How do you know if you have sourced the document all the way? Like, how do you know when you are done and got a point?
Great question, and the only way I can answer this is you've addressed the prompt, you've given it the proper purpose, content, point of view, situation, audience, whatever, and you've addressed it back to your thesis. You can't just say, the purpose is this, the point of view is this. He wrote this because he was a monk. That's great. I'm glad he's a monk. It probably says in the line of attribution that he's a monk. How does that strengthen your argument? Okay, always tell the reader, this helps support my argument by, or this shows why, or whatever. Add, read the next one.
How many documents do you recommend when we source the exam?
You got to get 2 sources for both of your analyzing points. So I would recommend doing at least 3. Again, this is a time test. If you run out of time, get those 9 points, attempt them. If you have extra time, do 1 more. Okay, try to do 1 more just in case one of your sourcings is not good. Next question. She's moved on. Which one is better to use, SOAP or HAP? Is there a better one? How many documents should we source for our DBQ? SOAP, HAP, and HIP are all basically the same thing. It's just a moniker to help you remember it. A lot of teachers use HAP or HIP. I know Coach McKay uses HIP. I used to use HIP. The only reason I use SOAP is because SOAP is in that book that I used by Chris Freiler, the Mastering the DBQ book that we did a lot of our sourcing out of this year, and a lot of our LEQ, SAQ handouts and examples was SOAP. That's the only reason why I use SOAP. It's essentially the same thing. You can use whatever you want, okay? Different ways to skin a cat. Doesn't matter which one you do. Doesn't matter if you use the same type of sourcing multiple times. No, it does not. You can use purpose for all of them. I would use whichever one you feel most comfortable with, okay? If you look at a painting, point of view might be the best way to go, or purpose might be the best way to go for a document. Whichever you feel best about, excuse me, that's the one you use, okay? My guys' problem with sourcing is forgetting the why. Yes, ma'am. What? You read the next one. I often been able to relate it back to the argument, but I usually don't understand the docs enough to dig into the why. So the why is going to strengthen your argument. Why is this document helping show the argument that I'm making? Why does this painting show resistance to imperial rule? Why does this document help me understand or help strengthen the argument about indigenous responses to imperialism? Whatever the case may be, the Mongols and their expansion across Afro-Eurasia. How does this help me explain why my argument is valid? This helps to show that. Okay. Addie, read the next one.
Daddy,
Yes.
about how many sentences should each of our sourcing points be? Also, if we need a specific example to use in our sourcing or something, are we allowed to Google facts because the test is open book, or does that count as cheating?
I would not be going to different websites during your test. I would log into one and be done. Okay. There's already been some cases out there of kids getting popped for cheating. College board's taking it pretty serious this year because they can't monitor it as well as normal. It's not in person. I would not myself be Googling facts. Okay. What I would do is take those review packets and print those off. That would be what I have for my cheat sheet. How many sentences should each of our sourcing points be? It's up to every individual. It's going to be different for everybody. Okay. I can't tell you definitively to do 2 sentences or 3 sentences. I would say 2 to 3 is probably the best. Give me your hip and then explain why. And however many sentences that takes, that's what you got to do. Okay. Should we summarize all docs? I would. You get a point for summarizing 2. So I would at least summarize 2, if not more. I would try to take all 5 docs and strengthen my argument with all 5. That's why you have that outline there to kind of put them all together. Okay. I would try to summarize all your docs if you can. Addie, go ahead. Next one.
Do we talk about specific events or historical context or everything going on during the period?
If you're using a historical situation, it'll relate to your prompt. Okay. If you're talking about the Mongols in the 1300s, it's not going to do you a lot of good to say this falls in the historical context of the rise of the 3-field system in Western Europe. Irrelevant. Okay, that doesn't strengthen your argument. It should be specific to the prompt, and then that historical context that document's written in. What is going on that's causing the author to write that, and why does that strengthen your argument? Why is that proof that your argument is valid? Okay. How can we tell what the content is versus the purpose? The content is what the document is saying. The purpose is why did that person write that? Why are there so many articles being written right now about the Spanish flu? Why are there so many people griping about Democratic versus Republican responses to the COVID-19 crisis? That's the why. The content's going to tell me about the COVID-19 responses. But why am I writing that? Okay, what's the purpose of me writing that document? Okay, and that's all of them. That's all we've got so far. If I get a bunch more questions, I'll do another one of these this weekend. I'll for sure do one this weekend anyway with you guys. Just so I want to make sure I touch base with everybody for the test. I'll give you some pointers and some things that I would maybe do next week, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. If you have to, write document 3 today, or DBQ 3 today, excuse me. If you don't have to, that's fine. But if you need to practice, feel free to write it, and we'll get it scored. Okay? You can tell them bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good job, chick. See you guys.